Now, by looking at the way the Titans played, it's almost hard to believe that they were still in this game right up until their last play. We touched upon the issues that Vince Young had today, and our Mike Rogers joins us now to talk about the rest of the team's problems, and there were a few.
Quite a few, and hope you can summarize that in one word: turnovers. That was definitely the biggest difference in their loss to the Steelers this afternoon. And right from the start, we all got the feeling that it was going to be a long day.
It's a definite, momentum swing. You're digging yourself a hole, especially the first play they take the kickoff back. Momentum definitely swings to that side, and then you turn it over and get a defense. Their offense, great field position. You dug yourself a big hole to come out of.
And the Titans' first move to dig out of that hole, unfortunately, put them right back in it. Even though this fumble didn't lead to any points, it set the tone, as turnovers would be a theme on this day.
And the Steelers are able to get on it in Titan territory.
Taking the field, our mindset is to even the score a little bit and take one back on them, And so I was out there trying to make a play, in traffic. It's inexcusable, and I have no excuse. I should know better to cover up the ball in traffic, and hopefully I learn from that, and it never happens again, and hopefully that ball doesn't ever touch the ground.
While it wouldn't happen again for Mariani, 3 more fumbles would soon be on their way. Combine that with 3 interceptions, you've got 7 turnovers in one game, the most for this team in a decade. After the game, it was easy for the players they just saw.
Sloppy, very sloppy.
It's a permanent headache kind of day, I leave here with a permanent headache.
No, it's definitely ugly. You can't, it's not just one of those games. You just can't do this in this league, I hope we never do this again. You can't win ball games, in this league, turning the ball over a few times, let alone 7 times.
Field of pass is intercepted by Polamalu.
The turnovers may be the story of this game, but on the stat sheet, it's hard not to notice the Titans' inability to run the football. Only 46 yards on the ground as a team. Falling behind in the second half was just part of the problem.
They played their technique well. They hustled to the ball, and we had opportunities. The long run. And I'm 100% sure we're gonna look at the film tomorrow, and we're gonna see plays that we could have busted open.
That's what happens when you get behind. When you let yourself get behind, you're down 2 or 3 scores in the second half. You're not going to run the ball. That's football. You want to run the ball, you got to be in the lead in the second half, and that's the way it goes. And that's why we didn't run the ball today.
We didn't get a chance to, keep them off balance like we wanted to. Got a touchdown call back. So I'm not really going to say they stopped the run. They just kind of made us change a little bit.
And while Titans fans have gotten used to the invasion of the terrible towels, the players are also accustomed to their game plan on the field. Even with a backup quarterback in charge of their offense, there were no surprises here. It was simply Pittsburgh Steelers football.
You got to execute. We practiced all week. They didn't do anything. We said it coming into the game. They weren't going to do anything that they haven't done the last 20 or 30 years, and they didn't. You can watch the last 20 years of film, and you're going to see the exact same thing on them. And they executed what they do better than we did.
And you have to admire the passion that Jake Scott has for the game of football. Speaking of passion, give credit where credit is due. The Steelers fan base invaded LP Field this afternoon, and from what I could see, they stayed there for the entire game. Titans fans, on the other hand, they headed for the parking lot halfway through the 4th quarter. Now, Hope, these guys almost missed what could have been an amazing comeback.
Just got a little too hot out there for them, huh?
But then, you know what? There's one thing between a blowout and a loss to a good football team. This was not a blowout. I was shocked by the fans just leaving town, heading for the parking lot.
And on the front end of that, what about all the fans who weren't there for the beginning of the game? A lot of empty seats. I don't know. It's happened for the 2nd straight week. We'll try to look into it. Running back Chris Johnson's streak of 12 consecutive games with 100 yards rushing comes to an end today. CJ had only